Hey guys, Dark Humility here. We are here with yet another mini guide and demo on the Season 10 closed beta
I can already
realm.
tell that I'll be your best friend in
This
this
is
camp.
a Hammered in Project Diablo 2. This isn't the first time I made a video about this build, but this is the strongest I've ever made one. And it's also the strongest version I've ever had a video about. If this doesn't get people playing this build, nothing will. This build has put up arguably one of the strongest numbers, if not the very highest number, I got out of a 2-minute session killing cows in Blood Moon. He is an absolute monster. So, before we go over the Hammered In, of course, though, which is a build, the Blessed Hammer Paladin, before we actually show him off, we got to go over the stats, the skills, the gear, and then, of course, we'll show him off. Let's start out with the, well, actually, before I do that, I should say something. So, real quick, I get why a lot of people probably don't play it. It's because it's insanely, popular in the original version of the game and still is in D2R. But I gotta say, it's a lot of fun, even on this mod, so you haven't tried it. Great solo mapper. Very strong, just in general. Yeah, that might be the case, Delapoff. See, that comment is definitely onto something. They can make Hammered and kill the whole map in one hit, and people would still not play it. But we'll find out if that actually is the case this time. Anyway, so damage. Really want to go for those magic damage LCs, but percent magic damage, negative magic res from Sanctuary Aura, which is on the Mercenary in this case. And of course, all your plus skills and everything else. Plus skills carry this build big time because it's a magic damage build. That's what you're going to do. You're going to put in enough strength to wear your gear there. You're going to put enough dex to have max block. And then you're going to put the rest of your points in vitality. Paladins don't usually have many res issues because all their shields have res on them. But, you might still have res issues. Make sure to have maximum res if you can. Okay, so we have 125 FCR here. 125 FCR is what you're aiming for if you can, especially because you also cast additional hammers on casting. So it's actually pretty solid stuff, but casting additional hammers on casting, no problem. Insanely strong. So ideally, higher FCR the better. At least hit 75 if you can, though. At least. I tried 75, feels just fine, but 125 is better. Damage reduction does help this build, and obviously on hardcore you can wear tankier versions with like FCR dungos and whatnot, and you could be very hard to kill. Of course, the sustain on this build can be mostly mana and life per kill, but you also have the option of using redemption after you just kill a bunch of monsters. So really, there isn't a lot of problems with sustain, survivability, or anything even on the basic version of this build, even if you're just going for max damage. But if you're having any of those issues, there are ways, of course, to get those from corruptions and things that are more difficult to get on the closed beta. Alright, and then the skills. If you've ever built a Hammered in LOD, it's pretty similar. You max out concentration. Concentration's our main aura. You're gonna put 1 point into redemption, max out vigor, which is a hammer synergy, and then max out blessed aim, which is another hammer synergy, and then max out blessed hammer. You're also going to, of course, want to put 1 point into holy shield at the very least, and I like to put the rest of my points into
I can
joust.
already tell that I'll be your best friend in this
so that you have all kinds of different ways to teleport to the enemies. You have charge, you have joust, you have teleport from Enigma. So you have 3 different mobility skills that you can weave together to make this build incredibly strong and effective in maps. Okay, and of course we have the Mercenary. I like the Act 2 Mercenary because he's really tanky and he can make you tankier as you jump into things. And you could put Asylum on other other types of mercenaries. You could put it on Act 5. You could do Act 4 for that Sanctuary aura, but you're jumping directly into monsters. So I actually kind of prefer to put it on Act 2 Merc. It's fast. He attacks fast. And it has freezes target on it, which is really big. So when you jump into monsters, it just like freezes them. So you can just like fire away on your hammers. You don't have many... not many block animations are going to happen when you jump in and freeze the monsters. Now, obviously, the Paladin has the best block animation in the game with Holy Shield, only at 2 frames, but still, any way to kind of remove any of those breakpoints is actually pretty solid. You're going to go, of course, Life Leech and DR on the rest of the build. You could go some more survivability in the boots, or you could go some more damage. Asylum does pretty solid damage, so... not bad to maybe boost the Merc's damage here if you can. And of course, here's a bonus. If you have the Wealth, Innocence plus Ferocity is going to proc 2 things actually on this. It's going to proc the Taunt, which is going to hold them onto the Mercenary and make the monsters group up even more, which will make the hammers even more devastating. Asylum, of course, will also proc the level 40 Fists of the Heavens on striking, and of course with the Sanctuary aura on top of it, it actually will do some damage. So you can actually get double procs here, and it's actually a very effective approach on this Mercenary. Alright, let's talk about this build. Now, there's actually a couple items on here that aren't realistic. You can't actually get them like they are on live. We'll talk about why. Like, for instance, this one, you wouldn't actually want an F one of these. Because when you charge or use Joust, you'll lose the durability eventually, so make sure this is non-ethereal. But anyway, Akarat's Devotion has the Blessed Hammer on casting. So it can be challenging to get 125 FCR on this build, because this doesn't have FCR, Hawes doesn't have FCR, naturally anyway, and it's like got 4 skills on it. Enigma doesn't have FCR either. You really want Enigma, so yeah, it can be challenging for sure. But you're going to definitely want a lot of FCR as much as you possibly can. FCR skill corruptions mostly throughout the build. Anyway, Saurians will give us some life per kill, so I kind of put them in there. But you see there's 6 to Blessed Hammer and Blessed Hammer on casting. It's pretty hard to beat that. It's going to be very strong. Enigma, of course, is going to allow us another source of mobility, which is really the main limitation of hammers, because hammers move in a circle, so you just want to keep moving. You want to move and cast a couple hammers, go advance, cast some more hammers, and things like that. And of course, you could use Joust, and you can use Charge as well to keep casting hammers. Now you got Enigma, you got Hawes. Hawes gives you the most skills. Hawes is very defensive. I don't really think there's any weakness to this shield. It's pretty much best in slot on this build. We also made some rare items. So you got some Paladin FCR Circlet, Paladin FCR Ami. Once again, FCR is a problem, so you're going to probably want those or things like that in the helm and the Ami slot. You can craft the Ami, of course, too. Lots of things you can do there. CTA and Lidless there, and then you got a Cultist and Iraq for more FCR, and skills, FCR, skills. And then, of course, I have Merman's Sprocket just for moving around quickly on charge to kind of increase the charge speed a bit and just overall smooth out the build. And obviously I can use Vigor and run on my right click as well. But of course you can't have both auras active at once, so if I have Vigor active, then you don't have Concentration active. It's not how it works. Okay, and so we got magic damage LCs, which are better than P-Combs for damage on this build. However, P-Combs can make you have more defense from Holy Shield. This build is a shit ton of damage, so you could definitely justify not using these, but they are very strong. And of course you can shore up res or MF if you use small charms instead. I will reiterate, these may be nerfed in the final iteration of the Season 10 patch notes. If so, they do impact some builds in a small way, but for the most part they don't actually have much of a negative impact on builds from all my testing. It's mostly a negative impact to the large charms themselves, bringing them more in line with skillers or just making them used less often. That being said, it remains to be seen whether or not that will still make people want to pick them up or make them want to put them in their loot filters. So we'll see what happens. Now, what we're going to do now is... One way there's still running hammers. Of course we're running hammers. And so that is it. That is the gear. You can, of course, use other FCR gloves. You can use a lot of things. You can put more DR with certain corruptions, but overall, it's very strong. Oh, oops. No weird sounds in the background. Let's get rid of those. And, we got this. Alright, let's do it, baby. Let's show him off. This is, so negative, by the way, magic res from the Sanctuary Aura is really big. That is why Asylum is good. You can also use the cheaper version, Heavenly Garb, which actually got buffed in Season 10. I forgot to mention that. So Heavenly Garb, you could put it on your armor, and that can also give you some negative magic res as well. But Asylum is still the go-to ultimate version. You could, I think, actually, with that aura, I think you could combine the two as well and get an even higher level one. That's not going to help too much, I think. I think this is more optimized, but it would be okay. Forgot to mention that, actually. Going over the gear. Okay. And here we go. Alright, he's already ripping. You kind of just like chain together your joust and her teleports, alternating between the two. And then, of course, if there's no cows, you just charge around, find some. And the procs are nutty. Oh, yeah. So getting the Mercenary procs are helping quite a bit. Plus the freeze. You see, this is absolutely devastating. Like, just look how fast we're just shredding these cows. And see, remember, you just have to pass like a couple of hammers and everything will die. Like throw out like 2 or 3 hammers and move on. Throw out 2 or 3 hammers. Alternate teleports. And that's how you play the build. Right now, it looks like my Enigma has recovered, so I can cover the charges. Teleport a bit more freely. The AoE on this build is just crazy. And keep in mind we can use Redemption like I just did there. So really easy sustain if you want it. Can't use P-combs, of course, perfectly fine. You don't need all these, but like it will boost the damage more, just straight up. No problems there. Actually, what map do we want to do? Let's see, we could show off Legiathon. We could do any map, honestly. Really wide open maps tend to be pretty good. This is with Enigma, yes. So Enigma is pretty essential, I think, to chaining your abilities faster. If you only rely on the maxed out joust cooldown, it's not going to be that great. Because remember, mapping fast is all about mobility, so. Notice how I'm chaining all 3 of my mobility abilities together when I can. Hdin is back with a vengeance. Getting stronger silently every season. Until he finally gets nerfed when people start playing him. Ah! And see, the cool thing about Enigma is I actually don't need any targets as well, so that's nice. Joust, I need targets, so. So OP, I know. They won't nerf it though until people play it, probably though. No doubt. It's pretty crazy actually. Crazy numbers in cows, crazy numbers and everything. Looks like one of the servers is restarting. Okay. Let me go to. I don't know. Maybe do the magic damage one. Where it literally has every other immune except for magic in it. Yeah, that's pretty good. The new one, Demon Road. I like testing out the new maps. It's a good thing we can show off here. Oh, we got ping now, man. Black screen teleports. Black screen teleport. Oh, baby. That's okay. It's actually kind of funny when you run out of Enigma teleports. It always says not enough mana. But, you know, I know what that means. We all know what it means. Okay. Anyways, that is it for the Hammered In mini guide and demo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Just have the awesome and devastating power of this build. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Dark Humility and the Mad Lab, over and out. See you guys in the next one. Make sure to join us on October 25th, 10 a.m. PT for the new season. And of course, on the 23rd, we plan to release a new updated version of the tier list and infographic. So you guys will have most of what you need for the new season, but remember, there's a new boss with unknown rewards and stats on the horizon, so who knows what that will require. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Let's crush it.